Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me on the show. Today we get to recap all the division round playoff games from this weekend. Rex Ryan is coming back to town. He's coming home, right? We're gonna preview the AFC and NFC championship games for this coming weekend as well. As always, all that and much more right here on Into the Voyd.
What you want? What you want? Come on. What you want? Come on. Come on.
All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this Monday, January 12th, 2015 edition of Into the Voyd. It's our episode 3. 3 episodes in. Very exciting stuff. How's everybody doing out there today? Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Welcome Into the Voyd. Once again, everybody. I am your host, as always, RJ Voyd. This is the Sports Talk podcast made by the everyday average working man. And it's for the same group of people. You know, I just like sitting down and chatting about my favorite sports teams and the most recent sporting events, and I just like sitting down and talking. I like having fun, like having lively conversations, apparently with myself. Just to let you guys know, I do plan on having other people on the show with me. I just wanted to kind of take a few episodes, a month or so, maybe a little more, depending on who I can get in here. But I'm hoping to get some people willing to sit down with me and just kind of chat back and forth. But I just wanted to wait a few episodes in, get to kind of work the kinks out, kind of get my feel for it so I get comfortable. That way it's not just two newbies. Because look, anybody who's brand new who doesn't know me, you know, you may think, oh, this guy's working on a podcast. You know, he's obviously very technologically sound, very savvy with the internet and all its interior workings. No, not the case at all. I work in a factory. I had to do so much research just to figure out how to plug this mixer in. But yeah, very much so newbie, very much so amateurs. But look, we're hoping to get better. I'm hoping to get better. But we're jumping right into it, I guess. To start with, look, 2 games that I did not get to watch. Actually, I only got to watch 1 game this weekend. I know, terrible sports fan here. I do have a family, just like everybody else. Maybe that doesn't bode well for me having my own sports talk podcast. But hey, guess what? I do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed either way, of course. But I only got to see 1 game. I saw part of a second game, and that was both the games on Sunday. So I didn't get to see the Saturday night games or Saturday day games at all. So Ravens, Patriots, that's out the window in Carolina. But I'll go ahead and let you know, if you don't know already, Seahawks defeated the Panthers 31-17, and the Patriots bounced Baltimore out of town by winning 35-31. Then moving on to Sunday, man, in my opinion, the 2 better matchups of the weekend anyway. I did not get to watch the entire Dallas Green Bay game, the Cowboys-Packers game. However, I was fortunate enough to be able to witness the second half of the fourth quarter. So I was able to witness the end of the game. And obviously that including the big controversial moment that I'll get to here in a second. But I went back after the game was over. The Packers defeated the Cowboys 26-21. And I went back, watched some of the highlights, kind of wanted to see what else happened during the game. And it really seemed like this Cowboys team started to finally run out of steam. And I was honestly, I can't remember who my pick was last week, whether or not it was the Packers or the Dallas Cowboys. I'm pretty sure I would have went with the Cowboys, just for the simple fact that that's who I've been riding on this whole time. But I will tell you this, I was honestly, as soon as I saw that they lost, as soon as I realized they lost, I was shocked. I was honestly surprised. I thought the Cowboys were really, I think they were really working on that hot streak, and I thought that they really had. And let me rephrase that. I thought it was more than just a hot streak. You know, I mean, they started to get hot, and they were just coming into their own. And I really thought that. Look, you watched specifically this playoff run. This whole season, this whole Cowboys season has been just amazing for them. But this playoff run, the 2 games up, starting last week, and then the few games leading into the playoffs as well. You really got the sense that this was the time the Cowboys were supposed to win. It just felt like everything else going on, all the other team storylines and everything. You just kind of felt that this was the team that was supposed to go the whole way. Go the distance. They just had that feel to them, that excitement, the energy. Like I said, they were very, very hot. But during this game, from what I was able to see, it definitely looked like they finally fizzled out. I mean, there was just that fire, that energy, that just momentum they had really did not seem to be there. Granted, that's not saying they didn't play well. There was very, very big highlights in the game and big moments on both sides of the field. But it was very obvious. I mean, Tony Romo still had a good game. Don't get me wrong. The whole team, for the most part, played pretty well. But look, Aaron Rodgers is just. The funny thing about Aaron Rodgers in this game was that you could watch him, and I saw him in the highlights specifically. But you could look at him and you could tell, look, this guy going into the game, if you guys hadn't heard, he was suffering from a leg injury or something, and but you can tell just by watching this game, watching the highlights even, that just looking at Aaron Rodgers, you could tell that he was not 100%. I mean, he was gimping out there, so he was not 100%. But guess what? Aaron Rodgers, not 100%, is still a very, very good quarterback. And definitely, I mean, look, that whole Green Bay Packers offense is pretty damn good. And look, their defense kind of showed up as well. But look, Dallas, like I said, I think the key part of this game was Dallas's momentum. Just they didn't show up with that same momentum that they had, the same fire. Like I said, I personally, maybe I'm the only one in this. Let me know if I am or not, but I kind of had it just watching the way they've been playing the last couple of weeks. It seemed to me like they had that steam. They just had that momentum, that look and feel of a Super Bowl team. So I'm very, very surprised, very shocked that they lost. Not because Green Bay's bad, just because they were riding such a hot streak that I bought into it, and maybe I'm gullible, but it was very, very surprising for me anyway. I knew it was going to be a close game, but for some reason I had it in my gut that Cowboys were going to come out on top, but I was misled. But like I mentioned earlier, the controversial 2 weeks in a row that there's controversy in the Dallas Cowboys games. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, the other controversial part moment for the Dallas Cowboys came late in the fourth quarter when Tony Romo, and this part I actually did see live. I was watching. It was about a little over 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, I believe. And it's fourth and 2 maybe, but Tony Romo steps back, passes 31 yards to deep left. I want to say deep left. 31 yards down. Des Bryant jumps up, catches it. There's a Packers defender right on him, and Des Bryant makes a brilliant, beautiful absolutely picture perfect catch. It was just, and he didn't have complete hold on it, but dude, they marked him down, but it looked beautiful. I mean, it was just clutch, and you knew, all right, they made this catch. Dallas gets another touchdown because he makes the catch and they mark him down at the 1 yard line. So 1 yard shy of a touchdown that gives them the go ahead. 4 minutes left to go. Then all the defense has to do is come out and stop the Green Bay offense, which is easier said than done, I know, but that's all they would have to do. Stop the Packers offense, and they win the game and they advance. And all seemed well and good. Dez Bryant makes this wonderful, awesome-looking catch. They mark him down at the 1, and then Green Bay Packers head coach Mike McCarthy, I think is what it is. Mike McCoy, something like that. I think it's Mike McCarthy. He throws his challenge flag, and me watching this live, I don't see what he could be challenging. I mean, you could tell when Dez catches this ball, he doesn't have complete control of it the entire time, but it makes it just but it definitely looks like a catch. There's no doubt in my mind. He doesn't hold it completely at one point, but for the most part, it was a complete catch, and you figured it would stand anyway because it looks like a catch. It feels like a catch. For God's sakes, it's a catch. But, all right, so he throws his challenge flag. They review the play, and to everybody's surprise, and, of course, to Dallas's dismay and Green Bay's elation, they overturn the call on the field. And it's going back to this, and basically the call is what they're saying, is this Calvin Johnson rule, I guess is what people have dubbed it. And I'm not even sure about all the details that have come. Everybody's been talking about it all day today. Boomer and Carton, that's what they spent most of their time on. Jay Moore Sports, the other sports talk show that I like to listen to, they were talking about it quite extensively. While I'm not familiar with this Calvin Johnson rule, all I can tell you is this: from what I understand, from what everybody's saying, as far as how the rule is concerned, they made the right call. It's not a catch. But then I look at the replays, and of course I saw it live, and I say to myself, how is that not a catch? Therefore, I come to the conclusion that this rule is, effing stupid. And of course, everybody's backing me up on that. Not necessarily backing me up personally, but I say it's effing stupid. Then I go look around what everybody else is saying, and they're saying the same thing. So I mean, it really seemed like a robbery. Everybody was surprised. I mean, Dez Bryant was shocked, and I know you can look at him, and I know I would. I was like, if I didn't make the catch, and I knew I didn't make the catch, I'd still be kind of acting like I'm all pissed off, saying they made the wrong call just because I want the 31 yards. And the 1 yard shy of a touchdown. But you gotta feel, look, if this stands as it is, if this stupid rule is not in effect, and it has something to, in this rule, it has I should have looked it up before I started the show, but it has a lot to do with not complete control or possession of the ball before it hits the ground. Then the ball hitting the ground has another factor into it. But when you read about this rule and the ruling on the field, and then you go and watch the play, they just don't match up. There's no reason, looking at it, if you're watching the game and you're watching the play, there's no reason, unless you are, of course, a Packers fan, that shouldn't have been ruled a catch. I mean, it's a joke. It was a robbery. But from what I understand, this kind of thing happens all the time. Maybe not necessarily in these high-profile big moments that could change the game in playoffs. But during the season, you see catches like this all the time, and this rule is what they call on the field. And typically, I guess they're not called, or they aren't. There's no controversy behind it because I guess it's not under the big spotlight or whatever. But still, I mean, this rule is retarded. It's stupid. It's dumb. And I say that not because I've had problems with it in the past. I'm saying that because I'm looking at it right now, and there's no way that Des Bryant shouldn't have been called a catch. I mean, that's an effing catch. Sorry for my language. And I'm not even a Dallas Cowboys fan. I don't dislike them, but I wasn't rooting for them. I like the Packers. I like as a team throughout my life. I would rank the Packers as far as my top 32 favorites. If I had to rank them, Packers would be ahead of the Dallas Cowboys. But but there was no reason why that shouldn't have been a catch, you know. But then you got to figure, all right, last week the controversial call, and that's the other thing. Like I said, last week the referees made a bad call. This week they didn't make a bad call. They reviewed it, of course, due to the challenge. And then they corrected the call and they made the right call. But ironically, the right call it's stupid because of the stupid freaking rule. But you got to think. All right, last week with the controversial call in the Detroit Lions game, when you look at it and you look at the circumstances surrounding it and when it happened and how it happened and how it affected the rest of the game, you know, you can't really say it affected the outcome of the game. I mean, yes, it could have. But it was still lopsided enough where, like, all right, even if the play went exactly the way that we all think it should have gone, the outcome of the game could still very well be the exact same. Dallas could have still easily won. Detroit could have lost. I mean, Detroit had plenty of opportunities in that game. But then you go fast forward to this week, and you look at the same thing, the same situation, the same everything revolving around this call, this ruling, and you got to think Des Bryant makes that catch. Remember, 4 minutes left to go in the fourth in the game. Dallas makes that catch. They get a touchdown. You got to assume. I mean, it's 1 yard out, so you can assume that they get a touchdown. And then, like I said earlier, all the defense has to do is stop the Green Bay offense in less than 4 minutes to go in the game. Tough, yes, but definitely doable. So if this call isn't overturned, Dallas really could honestly be in the NFC Championship game next week. So, I mean, but like I said, I mean, I really don't know why. And the big part about this controversy isn't about, all right, so the Dallas Cowboys, did they get robbed? Well, no, they didn't get robbed of the game because technically the call that they overturned it to, the call of, I guess, incomplete catch, that was technically the correct call because of this rule. It's just, it sucks. It's stupid that's how it had to go down. It's stupid that's the note that the Dallas Cowboys season has to end on, I guess is what I'm saying. The stellar season, not only am I, and this is all my opinion, of course, and how I perceive all this stuff, but not only did it seem to me that this Dallas had the momentum and had the look and feel of a team that was meant to go the distance, it also seemed to me that this was a team that was hitting its peak as well. So like this was their year. This was the time that they were supposed to do it. And it really feels to me that this was their last opportunity, their last true opportunity for this team, like for the Tony Romo and the Jason Garrett and the Des Bryant. Look, there's a lot of talk today about, not to expect both Des Bryant and DeMarco Murray next year. You got to pay one of them. Can you pay both? And Tony Romo is finally, he's not young anymore. He's starting to get in that second half of his career. This may have been his peak season, and he will never be this good ever again. And so it's really, to me, it's a shame, and it's really got a negative light surrounding it as far as Dallas moving forward now. That being said, I wouldn't mind seeing DeMarco Murray head to the Jets. I think that might be a nice little addition. Hell, I wouldn't mind Tony Romo heading to the Jets. I'll take an old-ass Tony Romo over a young-ass, pathetic Geno Smith any day, quite frankly. But that all being said, actually speaking of the Jets, head coach, this was the first head coaching hiring we've seen so far this year, I believe. Pretty certain anyway. Rex Ryan has now found a new home. It is in New York. It's not with the Jets, duh, and it's not with the Giants. He's signed with the Buffalo Bills, and now that makes me very, very happy. You want to know why? Because now the Jets, he signed a. Let me give you the details on this before I go ranting. If you know anything about me, once I get talking about the Jets, I tend to rant a little bit, and I apologize in advance. But, Rex Ryan signs a 5-year contract to become the Buffalo Bills head coach. Few things I want to mention about this. One, I was somewhat surprised, again, that this was his where he ended up. Because, really, if you think about it, what did he do? He stays in the same division. And essentially, I mean, generally speaking, if you look at the big picture here, all he did really was trade in for the same exact situation that he had with the Jets. I mean, I realize that him leaving the Jets wasn't his choice, and it needed to happen, of course. But he went from the Jets, a team with no quarterback, with a miserable quarterback situation and a stellar defense, and he went upstate to another team that has a miserable quarterback situation and a stellar defense. That being said, this defense has already established itself, and it's fairly young. I mean, it's really young. It's a young, talented defensive side of the ball. Jim Schwartz has done a phenomenal job there so far this year and last year. I think he was there last year too, right? Was Jim Caldwell been with Detroit that long? Yeah. But I mean, so Jim Schwartz has done a great job the last 2 years. I'm pretty sure it's 2 years. Sorry if I'm mistaken there, but which leads me to my point. They run a 4-3. The Buffalo Bills, they run a 4-3. The Jets and Rex Ryan's defense is a 3-4. I mean, it's a very complicated 3-4 defense, but they run a 3-4, so it kind of leads me to believe, all right, so those Buffalo Bills, are they planning to maybe let Jim Schwartz go? And if so, I mean, I think that Jim Schwartz has done a really good job with his defense. I think if they fire Jim Schwartz, he might actually get some looks to regain a head coaching position. I mean, he'd probably still stay as a defensive coordinator somewhere, but I think he would get some interviews and get some buzz going around about a head coaching position again. Because, again, he did a great job the last 2 years in Buffalo. Definitely bounced back from the old Detroit fiasco. But Rex Ryan, I mean, you got Rex Ryan, who's one of the most brilliant defensive coaches in the league, if not the most intelligent defense, the best defensive coach there is in the league. You got him coming in with his own defensive scheme, and you got him coming into a team that has the exact opposite defensive scheme. You know, as far as base defensive schemes go, like 4-3 and 3-4. So it makes me interested to see what they do with that. Does Jim Schwartz go, or does Rex Ryan keep that that situation going? Which really, how will Rex Ryan's defense and his outlook on the defense kind of work with that 4-3 base instead of the 3-4? I mean, how's that going to work out if he does decide to keep Schwartz, or how are those two going to work together? I mean, it makes for a very interesting storyline going forward here. The other thing, and the lesser thing, of course, is that Rex Ryan signed, and this is the one thing about it that I don't like. I'm very happy for him, obviously. Like I said, personally, I feel like he just went to a completely new situation. But you gotta tell me, and he stays in the same division where he's familiar with everybody and he knows everybody, specifically the team, the Jets, defensive, all the players on the team, of course, depending on who sticks around. Which leads me to that. By the way, one of the Jets' best players, and and honestly overlooked players. He's one of the best players on the team, and I think he's one of the better linebackers in the league. David Harris. David Harris is a free agent at the end of the season, and it's kind of making me worry that, or he's a free agent now, I should say, but it's making me worry. Look, and this was regardless of if Rex Ryan went to the Bills or to the Falcons or whatever, but I'll be paying attention to his storyline because I have a gut feeling that David Harris is going to go with the Bills now. Basically, I've had a gut feeling that he was going to follow Rex Ryan to wherever Rex Ryan ends up. So I believe that David Harris, as much as I would love to keep him around, I believe he's gonna head out of town. But that's again kind of getting off topic here. But Rex Ryan in Buffalo, I hate this. I mean, I like it because I'm a Rex Ryan fan and I want to see him succeed, and I think he will succeed in Buffalo. It's a lot less pressure than he was as the New York Jets head coach with our fan base and how bloodthirsty we are, always asking for the next guy and never really letting anything pan out. I realize he was there for 6 years, but we had a rough, we have a rough fan base. I'll be the first to admit it. I'll be the first to admit that we jump on everything and everybody the first sign of danger. But again, getting off topic there, it's very apparent to me. I bet I wouldn't be surprised. Let me start over here. Let me start fresh. Rex Ryan, I wouldn't be surprised if part of and apologize for the noise in the background, by the way. Garage door opening. My studio here is right above the garage door. Rex Ryan, I wouldn't be surprised if part of his motivation for wanting to sign with Buffalo is the fact that, look, he gets to keep fighting Bill Belichick, which he loves to do, and of course he gets to stick it to his old team, the team that fucked with his career for 6 years, and the Jets. And the thing that sucks about that as a Jets fan is now, chances are, I get to notch up two easy losses for the Jets for the next 5 years to compound the 2 easy losses we're going to have against Bill Belichick's Patriots. 2 against the Patriots, 2 against the Bills, 5 years at least with the Bills side of things. Oh, man, it's terrible. This is bad news for a Jets fan. Rex Ryan fan, this is pretty cool. I mean, I want to see him succeed, but as a Jets fan, this sucks. The Jets now have to go out and find a head coach that is going to propel them and get them to be that much better, which I don't see happening, especially, the guys they're naming. I'll get into that some other time when they do find themselves a head coach and their general manager. But yeah, Rex Ryan signs a 5-year deal with the Buffalo Bills. Going back to division round playoff games, the other one, this is the game that I saw pretty much the whole thing of, was the Colts-Broncos. Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. Peyton Manning going up against his successor, Andrew Luck. And the Colts won 24-13. Luck continues his stellar season. I mean, this kid really looks like the real deal. He looks like he's the next face of this league, not just the franchise, but he's going to be the next big thing. I mean, and you watch him in the press conferences after the games and all the things. He looks like he carries himself really well. He knows how to talk to the media, and on the field, man, this guy he makes so many smart decisions, and he just looks really good. How lucky are the Colts to as soon as they have to let go of probably one of, if not the best quarterback of all time in Manning, they get this kid out of the draft, Andrew Luck, who looks like he might become a future Super Bowl champion, multiple Pro Bowls, maybe even a Hall of Fame. Who knows? I know it's too early. I personally don't like picking out Hall of Famers this early in their career. I mean, They have to really stand out like J.J. Watt. I want to see it. If J.J. Watt comes back next year and has the same kind of year, if not even better, then I will concede that I believe he probably will be a future Hall of Famer. Till then, I'm not. It's the same thing with Andrew Luck. If he can continue this rise, man, there ain't no reason why you wouldn't think he would. But Andrew Luck looked really good. On the contrary, of course, Peyton Manning did not. We have not seen the same Peyton Manning all month. The last couple of weeks of the regular season, and now, of course, we saw, like I said, look, when I was giving my picks, and again, I don't remember who I picked for this game, what team, but I was talking to my father. I was talking to my pops, and I even told him, we were talking about this game, and he was saying that the Broncos should be able to just demolish the Colts. Colts defense is questionable, and I just think that he basically picked the Broncos, and I said, look, the one thing you don't seem to realize, Peyton Manning just chokes in the playoffs. I mean, he is an excellent, the best, in my opinion, the best regular season quarterback that you'll ever see. Maybe not ever, but that I've ever seen anyway. I'm not saying much. I'm only 22 years old here, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, he is the best that ever as far as the regular season goes. But when it comes to the playoffs, man, he chokes almost consistently. He made it to one Super Bowl, or not? He made it to two Super Bowls, I think, right? Last year's included. But he won one Super Bowl, and then he just never is able to duplicate his regular season success in the playoffs. And I told my dad, I'm like, look, Peyton Manning chokes, especially considering that he hadn't looked that good in the last few weeks of the season. But yeah, Peyton Manning Peyton Manning didn't just play bad. He looked terrible. I mean, I can't explain it, but he just was not playing as Peyton Manning. It wasn't him out there. It kind of looked like last year's Super Bowl. I mean, he just didn't show up to play. And then it was announced today that he'd been playing for the past month with a torn quad. And look, regardless if I believe that or not, I don't really pay attention to. Look, the season's over for him anyway, so what difference does it make if he did or not? I definitely would understand. It would explain why he's had such a bad last month. But yeah, he just looked really bad in this playoff game and in the last couple of games that he's played in. But yeah, Peyton Manning's season's over, and now you really got to look into and start questioning, about his future as well. In the press conference after the game, he was asked about his future. He said, and he couldn't really give a definitive answer. He wouldn't commit to it, which is fine. I mean, that doesn't mean he's not coming back. That's what everybody's going to jump on, or at least the media anyway. That's what they want you to think. It's like, oh, that means he probably won't be back. But I wouldn't be surprised if he retired. Because, look, if there's any indication, now again, torn quad the last month, which coincides with when he stopped looking like Peyton Manning. Because before then, I mean, he was stellar, like he usually is. Just a groundbreaking offensive monster, So, I mean, it definitely would make sense. It would definitely explain a lot of things for the last month. But Peyton Manning I honestly believe that if this is any indication of how, let me rephrase it. If I was Peyton Manning, or if I was a future Hall of Fame quarterback like that, wouldn't I want to go out not with a whimper? Wouldn't I not want to come back for another year where I could possibly play like Peyton Manning did the last month? And it's not going to tarnish my what's the word I'm looking for here? My legacy or anything, because I'm still going to have whatever championships or whatever. But yeah, for me personally, I would want to go out on the highest spec, and if I finished off a season like he did, I would want to call it quits there. At least that's the closest I'm going to get to coming back on top. But again, he's Peyton Manning. He's a different kind of creature altogether. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if he came out and decided to retire. That being said, he is still, as far as I know, he is still under contract with the team for another year. So at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he stuck around too. But if the last month is any indication of the kind of abilities he has left in the tank, if you will, the amount of gas left in the tank, it's not going to be it's going to be a long season for him next year. It's not going to make it to the playoffs. I mean, if he plays like he did the last month, especially in yesterday's game, yeah, it's not going to look good for him for the future. But yeah, I mean, Andrew Luck looked great. Peyton Manning, not so much. Peyton Manning, torn quad, definitely would explain some things. And if he can come back healthy, he could definitely prove me wrong and probably will. But moving on to the AFC, we're going to preview the conference championship, the conference title games. Like I said earlier, the Patriots beat out the Ravens. And so the Patriots get home field advantage for the AFC Championship. So it's going to be the Indianapolis Colts at the New England Patriots. Talking about this, previewing this, I don't go into storylines unless, this is all stuff that I see from my own point of view. So that being said, Tom Brady is a monster as well. Tom Brady is just playing at a different level than as good as Andrew Luck has looked. Tom Brady isn't Peyton Manning. He hasn't been struggling the last month. He hasn't kind of been having that weird season that Peyton Manning has. Tom Brady really is. He's, as much as I dislike the Patriots and everything that goes along with that organization, Tom Brady really is an incredible player, an incredible quarterback. He's playing at a different level right now than he usually is, and you gotta it comes right back to it. I said it last week for this game as well. It is tough to win in Foxborough. It is tough to win on the road in Gillette Stadium against the Patriots on their home turf. Man, it is just they know how to play at home, and that crowd definitely has a factor in it too, man. They know how to root and tilt the odds in their team's favor, of course. Not that the Patriots need it. The Patriots are a very good team as it is. If you looked at the Ravens game, all right, maybe they found themselves some weaknesses against what the Ravens' strengths are. So what Bill Belichick do? He switched it up, put a little bit of maybe tasteless or maybe kind of questionable, especially if your name's John Harbaugh. Questionable plays in there, sneaky plays, kind of slimy plays that Bill Belichick knows what to do with. Anything that's slimy, sleazy, has Bill Belichick's name on it. He's been there before. Effing guy. But yeah, I mean the Patriots, they know how to win. As soon as they start developing a weakness, they develop a strength to compound that weakness. I mean, they're Bill Belichick. Look, again, as much as I hate him, specifically Bill Belichick, I'm not a Bill Belichick fan. I'm not going to sit here and bash him, but there's no denying, if you love him or hate him, there's no denying how great he is as far as how he takes his team, how he handles his team. He is one of the great. He's the best coach in the league right now, and he's one of the best coaches of all time. And there's no denying it, no arguing it. There's just no way that he doesn't land in that category. That all being said, nothing taken away from the Colts as well, especially coming off of this epic win against the Broncos. But it's going to be a tough game for Andrew Luck and the Colts to come out on top there. So I'm picking the Patriots to win the AFC Championship, go on to the Super Bowl. And on the other side of the pond, the NFC Championship, you're going to have the Green Bay Packers going into Seattle to face the Seattle Seahawks. And again, as tough as it is to win in Foxborough, it's even tougher to win in Seattle. Those fans, I told you, the Patriots fans know how to turn a game in their team's favor. Yeah, the Seattle fans know how to do as well, and they know how to do it better than anybody. Plus, the Seattle defense is just incredible, and Aaron Rodgers will need to be. I told you earlier that you can look at him and tell he wasn't at 100%. Aaron Rodgers will need to be at 105, 110, 115% against this defense, this great, incredible defense. That is the Seattle Seahawks. Richard Sherman. I mean, just all the guys that are on that team. It's a very uphill battle for the Patriots. I think this game will be a lot closer than the Patriots Colts game. But at the end of the day, I think the Seattle Seahawks come out on top of this one as well and move on to their second straight Super Bowl appearance, which is very, very hard to do these days. And so, might as well go into it then. So if that's the case, you know what? No, I'm going to save my Super Bowl picks till next episode. But yeah, look, the Seattle Seahawks defense is just crazy good. Aaron Rodgers, there's no guarantee he's going to be at 100%, let alone playing great. I mean, he was gimping out there yesterday, so it looks worrisome for me. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy 100% again, then yeah, I think this game is going to be a lot closer. But look, if you have two good offenses, what's gonna take it into the next step and what's gonna win the game? And that's a good defense. And when you compare the defenses, Seattle and Green Bay, dude, there's no question. I mean, it is far between as far as comparing the two go. But that's all I got for you guys today. Be sure to check out ESPN 8:30 tonight. The first college football playoff. The final, the national championship. Ohio State Buckeyes are going to be facing the Oregon Ducks. That's again tonight at 8:30 on ESPN. Subscribe to the feed, everybody. Just you can subscribe to the feed here at Into the Voyd, intothevoyd.weebly.com. Voyd is spelled VOYD. Just go to the website, go to our podcast page, and subscribe to the. You can click our RSS feed icon and subscribe to the feed from there. Or we are now officially on iTunes as well. So go into iTunes, search up Into the Voyd. Again, Voyd spelled VOYD. And scroll down until you find our page, and you can subscribe to us from iTunes as well. Follow, like, and share with us on Facebook. If you like the show, spread the word. It's at facebook.com. / Into the Voyd, one word, of course, VOYD. Again, you guys better be getting the picture there. And comment, discuss, just let me know what you guys think of the show so far. Any suggestions that you may have as far as how to better this product. Your thoughts on all the things we talked about today. Just anything at all, you guys. I mean, really, comment. I love hearing from you guys, and I like forming discussions and everything as well. If you have a question, you can ask a question, and maybe I'll answer it on the next episode or so. Credits today, obviously music credits as always, go to Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech.com. I'll have a link and the appropriate credits for you in the show notes. Other than that, everybody, look, thank you very much for joining me. Hope you had a great time, and I hope to see you here again next week when we go for episode 4. So thank you, everybody, once again, and have a great week.